Okay, so let's go ahead and start. So thank you guys so much for joining us today, and especially thank you to Mauro, our colleague and friend who is in Italy. And so it's already evening for you, Mauro. So thanks for giving us your time. This is going to be a very short call. We think about 20, 30 minutes of your time, and then, of course, open for any other questions and discussion afterwards as needed. But this call just gives us a chance to share with you kind of what we have in mind for the annual campaign for AVSI USA. And we'll tell you a little bit about the projects that we're going to be supporting this year. And then since we have Mauro with us, we wanted to ask him to help us go a little bit deeper into our theme. Because as you know, which is the AVSI tradition that started many years ago in what AVSI calls the 10-day campaign. Every year we choose a theme, and the theme helps us to kind of just focus in on the reasons why we do fundraising, fundraising and awareness raising, which is really the purpose of the campaign at the end of the year. Of course, our goal is to raise money to support AVSI projects and partners around the world, but it's also to communicate a message, something that we've learned and we believe, or we're still learning, that we think is important for the world, and for ourselves. So as many of you may know, over the past couple of years, we've been talking a lot about peace in our annual campaign. And for sure, we're still in a world with marked by a lot of war and violence. And so the need for peace remains top of mind and top of heart for all of us. And yet, I don't know about you, but as the years go on, unfortunately, we're still in the same situation of a couple of years ago. So the desire for peace doesn't fade. But this year, we're talking about hope. We're talking about hope, the hope that keeps us going and positive in front of, in front of reality that's not always easy to accept and easy to live. So we know that the Holy Father has chosen hope as a theme for 2025. So we're entering into the year of hope. And so for AVSI, what we decided to focus on as a very concrete means of expressing our hope and sharing that with the world is education. So our theme this year is going to be Education is Hope. Over the past years, of course, as we've talked about peace, we've made the comment, we've reflected together about how peace is not just a matter of states, a matter of governments to decide when to have war and when not, but that really it's something that all of us are called to live, and it's about our relationships with each other. And so education, similarly, is a means for us to learn. Is a means for us to grow for ourselves, kind of more fully, into who we are meant to be, and then into relationship with others. So again, Mauro is going to tell us a little bit more about why AVSI would connect education with hope and what education means for us. But before he does that, I'm just going to share with you. Oh, thank you, Chachi. I'm going to share with you the projects that we've decided to focus on. Okay, you can go ahead to the next slide. Thank you. Okay, so sorry, here it's a bit repetitive. Sorry about that. So education lies at the heart of everything that we do. And, when AVSI talks about education, we're not just talking about formal schooling. We're really talking about lots of ways in which all of us throughout our lives are still learning and still needing to learn. And really, we're also talking about places where education happens. Like the picture that you see here is from Crecemos, and Crecemos is one of the projects that we're support. It's a library. So AVSI is very interested in supporting spaces where education, is the air that you breathe and is the method that's being proposed. Okay, next slide. So these are the projects that we're supporting this year in our campaign. And I think we're going to look at them one by one. Yeah, so first of all, we're going to support AVSI's work in Palestine, in the Holy Land. And there we work with some schools run by the Custody of the Holy Land. And clearly, the ability of children to continue to go to school and to be in relationship with social workers who care for them and helping them through this traumatic period is essential. So AVSI's educational work in Palestine will be our first project. In Mexico, as many of you already know, we support Crecemos, which is a local organization in Oaxaca. Some of us had the chance to visit this year, and some of us a couple years ago. And Crecemos offers a range of services, but really it's one of these places of beauty and of education within the slums outside of the city of Oaxaca that is really breaking cycles of poverty and violence by giving children and their families kind of a new gaze on themselves and on their lives. In Uganda, we're supporting this year Meeting Point International, which is, of course, a longtime partner of AVSI, and it is a community of women and men with HIV/AIDS primarily, and it's a place where women are supported and able to keep their desires open for their lives and for the lives of their children. And so many programs happen there. A lot of life shared together, singing as you see them in the picture, singing and dancing. But then practically, Meeting Point International has started a couple of schools and has a number of economic empowerment and other programs helping these families. And then in Romania, we've been supporting a local organization called FDP for many years now. And since the war in Ukraine broke out, FDP has really responded very beautifully to the needs of the Ukrainian refugees. And they continue to do so, although that need has lessened a little bit over the past year or two. And so FDP has asked us a very specific request. They have a number of women, also many of them affected by AIDS, but also many single mothers who just are facing difficult situations. And so they've asked us to help them put together a bit of a reserve fund to be able to respond to the needs of the women and children that are in their community. So that's FDP in Romania. And then in India, we have a partnership, and this is a newer partnership with Father Don Bosco, who you can see in the picture with the beautiful girls, the man in the foreground of the picture, and he runs a school called Talita Kumi Unati that rescues girls and young women from human trafficking or those who are being at high risk of being trafficked, and he brings them back. And so we're going to raise some funds to support the school in general, but it's really beautiful to hear how not only are they providing education and safety and a way out of a very difficult, abusive lifestyle for these girls, but he cares so much for their dignity that one of the things he would like to use our funds for is to help them buy Christmas dresses for these girls, so that on Christmas they can feel good about themselves and celebrate their new life together with beauty. So that is India. And then lastly, we have our project here in the US, Restorative Freedom Initiative, which is the first project that we're doing in the United States. And we're working with two reentry organizations that are both founded by formerly incarcerated people. And again, these two organizations are providing a space where men leaving prison can be received and be supported and helped in their journey to know themselves and get their feet back on the ground. So both of them really embody AVSI's approach to education. And then lastly, we as AVSI-USA, we always need to raise these kinds of flexible funds that allow us to be present and to do the work that we're doing. So some of the annual campaign will also go to support the general fund, which maybe isn't as immediately as attractive, but if you pause to think about the importance of kind of flexible funds for an organization to remain present and to remain responsive, that's what the general fund allows us to do. So with that, those are the projects that we're supporting. Mauro, I'd love to turn it over to you and ask you just to share a few more words, if you don't mind, what is education for AVSI? Why do we link it with hope? And feel free to comment on any of the partners and projects that we're supporting this year. Thanks, Mauro.
Thank you so much. Thanks, Jacqueline, and thanks everyone that is here with us today. Um, I start just with a short story. My story often comes from East Africa. I've been spending 17 years of my life in Uganda. I've just relocated to Milan recently, and the women of Meeting Point that you saw in the pictures are like family to me. I want to start by telling you the story of one of the daughters of these women. Her name is Gladys. Gladys was a dropout. She left school at the end of the primary school cycle because the father thought that she was too stupid to invest his money into her education, and so she just was staying at home. Rose met the mother, who was a former abductee of the Lord Resistance Army, the rebels who just caused the 20 years war in the northern part of Uganda, led by Joseph Kony. And she was HIV infected. And she knew the mother, and she came to know that the daughter was at home. And she had been at home, I believe, a couple of years. And one day, when she came to know that she was not attending the secondary school, she just went there and asked her to start going to our secondary school, the Luigi Giussani High School, that we created in partnership with the women of Meeting Point International as AVSI. And the school had already started. So she was welcomed by the head teacher, who took her to her classroom. The lesson was going on. The teacher stopped and welcomed the head teacher, and then she looked at Gladys and asked her, "How are you today?" And Gladys instantly, she just turned her back and looked behind her, thinking that the teacher was asking this to the headmaster, because in all her primary school history, there was no teacher who ever looked at her, who ever asked her a question. No one asked her how she was. And when she got struck when she understood that instead that the head teacher had already left the classroom, and so the teacher was just speaking to her. And then the teacher invited all the classmates to welcome the new student, and she told the classmates, "Let's welcome our new baby in this class." And Gladys told us, "Not even my mother had ever called me baby." And this was the turning point of her life, the relationship with this teacher. She always says, when she tells about this story, the first time that I heard about her telling this story, she was something like 19, 20, and she was like, "I'm 19 years old, but I'm actually 6 years old, because my life started at that moment, that day of February 24th, when I was welcome in that classroom." And Gladys became the first of her class, and she completed her secondary school as best performing student of the school. And thanks to this, she managed even to go to the university. And now she's completed her university studies because she wants to become a teacher. I mean, I have this story, but I could be having many others. I believe that this story exemplifies what we really mean by education, and why this theme, education is hope, is so pivotal. Education is hope because education is a relationship, and the relationship is with someone that stands in front of me and looks into my eyes and calls me by name and calls me baby if I need that in that moment. Education is not hope because by giving instruction to these people, we hope that they will become rich. That could be an outcome of the educational process, but it could not even be an outcome. I mean, life is very um, unpredictable sometimes, and sometimes can be really tough, especially in an environment where you're asked to survive with less than $1 a day in 5 people. And I mean, I see people living with that amount of money. And I see people that in our society, who I would, at least in Italian society, I would see them as desperate. Actually, the women of Rose, they're not singing like that just because there were some guests maybe and the picture was taken while they were singing for the guests. They are always reminding us that life is worth living because they have encountered someone that with their gaze made them discover that their life was relevant and was important and was worth and was having this infinite value. And the reason why the Luigi Sani High School and the reason why education exists is exactly to help us understand that we are wanted. So the moment we are not alone, the moment we discover that we belong to someone, that is the moment we start being educated. And that's the moment that becomes a beacon of hope for our life. And as hope, I believe that is born the moment I know that I'm not alone. And I know that I'm not alone now. Hope is not born because education is an investment, and so I hope that in the future something good will come. I have hope because I'm certain now that the future is good, that the future is positive, because notwithstanding my conditions, notwithstanding my shortcomings, notwithstanding my poverty or my sickness, my life is worth living because I'm loved now by someone. So education for us in AVSI becomes offering formal education, informal education, non-formal education. In AVSI is an opportunity for us to tell people, look, that no matter what, your life is worth living. We are here with you because your life matters to us. And all our projects are meant to be sure that the last child in the last school of the last village of the last country of the world is being told and shown that his life is important and matters. This year, we have projects. I mean, it's the first year, for example, that we are supporting this project in India. I don't know personally much about this project, but just the story that Jackie told us, it's a clear example. Somebody might say, "But sorry, but these people might be having thousands of needs, might be poor, might be discriminated, might be isolated." But how genius is the fact that a priest, I believe that he was the father, that a priest thinks about the beautiful dress so that they can feel that their life is special. On that day, they have one dress that is their own dress and not the dress that they collected from the brother of the sister or the one that was coming before. Like all the projects then that instead I'm more familiar with in and of the Meeting Point International, and together with Meeting Point Internationals, the Luigi Sani primary and secondary school and high school in Uganda. The women of Meeting Point did not want to build a, a clinic or a hospital, even though all of them they're sick, and some of the children are sick too. But they wanted to have a school because they said that the most important thing in life, even before the drugs and the medicine, is the recognition of the fact that we are wanted now. And that's why they invested for having a school that is having as a mission the fact that you can be educated only if you discover your infinite value. Jackie, I don't know if you have more
Oh,
questions or.
no, no, that's beautiful, Mauro. Thank you so much. And as you're describing that process, right, of the relationship where the other where you understand that you belong and that you're called by name. I think in every single one of the projects that we're supporting this year, I can think of many examples like the Christmas dress. Those of us who were recently at Crecemos, I think we saw that there as well, in the attention that they pay to the, to each and every child, and each and every mother, and the beauty of the place, right? And of course, the value of beauty helps us to communicate this concept that life, or this meaning, this statement that life is meaningful and worth living. So thank you so much, Mauro. That's very helpful. Anyone has questions can hold them until the end, and then we can have a little bit of a conversation with Mauro as well. Chechi now is just going to share with us some details about the campaign. Chechi, right?
Yep. So just like Jackie said at the beginning of this meeting, the annual campaign is, of course, the opportunity for us to raise funds for our partners around the world, but also a chance for people to meet others. The annual campaign unites people worldwide. So we always try to invite guests and try to give a chance to people who live in the US to meet people in the field that we work for. So last year we invited Annalisa to the US. We had a beautiful fundraising tour. Sadly, this year we're not able to invite someone physically to the US, but we are more than happy to connect people online. So how can everyone get involved? Well, first of all, people can donate either on our website or send a check, or they can also donate via Venmo. And people can share our campaign with friends and family. And they can also plan an event. So this year we have three amazing colleagues who are available to give talks and share about their work and get to meet the communities around the US. One is Socorro from Crecemos, one is Rose from Meeting Point International, and one is Father Don Bosco from India. So if you're interested in planning an event at your local library, or just have a dinner with your friends and have a chat with these amazing people, just let us know, and we are more than happy to plan and to coordinate so that they can join in. And then, of course, you're always more than welcome to reshare all the materials that we post on our social media or the materials that we share via email, and just reshare with all your contacts. So feel free to reach out to me. You can see at the bottom of the slide my email address. Feel free to call me, and for any materials that you'd like to download, flyers, or we have a beautiful one-pager presenting our work and the theme of this campaign. You can scan the QR code. And of course, this call is recorded, so we will be uploading it on our website, and you can rewatch it and reshare it with other people who may be interested in participating in our campaign as well. Yeah, I think this is it. If you have any questions, we're more than happy to respond.
Yeah, thank you so much, Ceci, and thank you, Mauro. That's really the information that we had for you. Now that we're heading into Thanksgiving and Christmas, this is a great time to to think about how we can use this as an opportunity, right? For many of us, it's an opportunity to go deeper into kind of what it means to prepare for Christmas, what it means to be living in the Advent season. Yeah, we are very available to help in any way we can. So we can kind of finish here. For anyone who needs to jump off, no problem, go right ahead. We wanted to keep this short and into 30 minutes. But if anyone has any questions or comments or wants to ask anything of Mauro, please feel free to go ahead and raise your hand or just come off mic.
Jackie, can you hear me? Sorry, I don't have a question, but thank you for organizing this, and thank you, Mauro. I find that the story that you shared is very powerful, and so it would help us in Boston to propose this to friends, to have examples like this. Even the slides that you just shared, if you could send them to us, we could use them. We are preparing a couple of small events. Our fundraisers are kind of small, but they are growing. And again, stories like the one that Mauro shared are really powerful. So just wanted to say that. Thank you.
Thanks, Sabrina. And yeah, that gives me the chance just to kind of remind that, the other thing that we are always interested in is hearing from you about how the events go that you do, not just the results, not just how much money you make, but what do you learn? What did you learn from it? And maybe what did if you involve kids, what was their experience? So don't forget to judge the event, and think about it, reflect on it afterwards, and if you can, share back with us, because that really helps us all.